Kita menunggu partisipan yang lain dulu ya Ibu. Kita menunggu presenter yang lain masuk dulu, nanti saya akan mulai sesi keduanya. Apakah presenter pertama dari Universitas Tidar sudah hadir semua di sini?
Iya Bu, sudah hadir. Kami sudah hadir di sini.
Oke, sudah hadir, baik. Bisa saya mulai sekarang ya, Ibu? Okay, well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to room 4 of parallel session 2 of LLTC 2022. My name is Alvira, and I will be the PIC of this room. I will also act as the timekeeper and will be reminding the presenter verbally 2 minutes before the time is up. In this parallel session, each team will have 15 minutes to present and 5 minutes for Q&A session. And each presentation will be moderated by the next presenter. So without any further ado, let us begin the first presentation by the team from Tidar University and will be moderated by Susilawati from UIN Sultan Maulana Hasanuddin, Banten. The time is yours.
Iya, Kak Alvira. Halo. Apakah bisa terdengar suara saya?
Bisa, tapi cukup kecil ya, Bu ya.
Oh, kecil ya.
Ya, tidak apa-apa, Bu. Masih terdengar.
Ya, masih terdengar.
Terdengar ya. Untuk Kak Susi itu sepertinya belum bisa join karena untuk presentasi pun akan diwakilkan oleh saya. Jadi apakah untuk yang moderator ini diwakilkan oleh saya juga atau bagaimana, Ibu?
Ini tidak masalah. Iya, nggak apa-apa sih Bu ya, jika diwakilkan oleh anggotanya ya.
Oke.
Iya Ibu, tidak apa-apa, diwakilkan oleh anggotanya saja.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks a lot for Kak Alvira, the PIC of room 4. And then here, ladies and gentlemen, I think that you have got full enough after the breakout. Okay. Now, this is the time for us to have the first presenters. So, is Kak Agnira ya, Kak Agnira Reka, and then Susanti Malasari, Paulina Besti Fortinasari from Tidar University, Indonesia, with the title, How do the students perceive on weekly reading report in extensive reading class, a case study. Okay, this is such an interesting topic or theme. So without doing further ado, let's invite our speaker, Miss Paulina Besti. Yeah, okay, the time is yours.
Thank you very much, Ibu Siti. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera untuk semuanya. So, the Honorable Committee and also the audience, thank you very much for the opportunity. We are from Universitas Tidar. I would like to share screen first. Yeah. So we are from Universitas Tidar, and there are Bu Agnira Reka, Bu Susanti Malasiari, and also me, Paulina Besti. And in this occasion, we would like to present our study or research done in one of the class in extensive reading class. So our title is How do the students perceive on the weekly reading report in extensive reading class? As we know that nowadays, extensive reading has gained popularity in the field of teaching reading. And in our university, especially in English education department, extensive reading is one of the compulsory subject. And as we know that the process in extensive reading involves the learners to read a lot, anytime and also anywhere. And it is quite hard to put the habit of reading among the students. Since in the beginning of the semester, we did a survey, and we found that almost that over 50% of the students were not accustomed to reading um, an English article, at least one article one week. So extensive reading as language teaching and learning procedures, it's carried out by reading large quantities of materials and with the intention to obtain the pleasure from the text. So we can call it reading with joy. Yeah. So in extensive reading class, we give the student tasks, weekly reading report. Yeah, but before that, we have the pre-task reading, whereas the first one we decide the topic of the reading each week, and we require the student to read at least 2 articles. Yeah, the length of the article around 100 words at least. Yeah, so we decide the topic. Basically, we offer the topic first, and then we decide together the topics. Yeah. And we also ask the student to find the article from the reputable website, magazine, and also newspaper. So we also guide them which kind of website that can be the source to get the good article as well. So after reading it, the student will have a weekly reading report, and we guide them what should be in the report. Yeah, so we need to explain the the title, the source, and then how the duration to read the article at the first time, and then make the list of difficult or new words, and then they need to give their opinion about um, the article, and then what kind of insight they get, and so on. Yeah, and also the result of its reflection. And therefore, in this study, we formulate 2 research questions. The first one is, how was the implementation of weekly reading report in extensive reading class? And how students perceive of the implementation of weekly reading report? So weekly reading report here as the task-based learning for extensive reading class. And this is the method, the methodology. It is a qualitative research with a case study, and we adopted the descriptive narrative for the data analysis from Miles and Haberman. And the respondent of this research were 40 students in an extensive reading class, and we were chosen them using convenient sampling. So since I teach them this semester, so I would like to observe about the implementation of the weekly reading report. And the data, together the data, we use observation, questionnaire, and also interview. And the data will be analysis, yeah. And the procedure is data reduction, display, and the image verification. So the findings, yeah, we divide the findings into three parts. The first one is related to the reading activity. We found that the student has some difficulties. The first one, and most of them revealed that they have a limitation on the vocabulary, and it influenced a lot on the reading comprehension. So they also reveal the solution when they get the difficulties. So they check the dictionary and then try to understand the context more carefully. So they need to read more than 5 times and also doing note taking. But the advantage of the weekly reading activity, they show that they can improve their vocabulary building, and then they can discover the main topic and idea, and also they can comprehend the contents fast and more accurately. So there are we did this uh, uh, this weekly report from meeting 2 up to meeting 7, and they discover that they can they need a short duration to get the main idea or to comprehend the content of the reading. And they also realize that they have more opportunities to apply some reading strategies and also techniques that they have learned in the previous semesters. And the second part of the findings, it is related to the implementation of weekly reading report. So first one is related to the form of the reading reports. Most of them, they use PowerPoint slides. Yeah? Because every meeting, we also share what they have read in front of the class, and it is random. Yeah? So they have to be ready with the reading article, with the reading report as well. And then some use mind mapping because they say that it is a little bit structured, yeah, lebih terstruktur, and then the rest use picture, poster, and short essay report. While the elements of the weekly report, it is related to the title, the source, the type of the article, whether it is fiction or non-fiction, and then about the length of the article, how many words are in the article, the duration, reading the article for the first time. So they need to count from the first meeting up to the 7th meeting. And the new words, and also the main idea, the summary, and their opinion about the article, and also the insight or inspiration they get after reading the article. And then the third part of the findings, it is related to the implementation of weekly reading reports. So the students made a reflection, yeah. So they find the reflection. And then it is related to the content of the article, and it depends on the topic given. For example, one of the topic is about biography, and then what they get from certain person, for example, like the President of Indonesia, Jokowi, and so on. And then the new knowledge they got after reading the article, and also the new vocabulary and difficult words they found. The third finding, it is about the students' perception on weekly report, and this is the perception of students. They show that they can gain the reading habit, yeah, almost 100%, so 96.6%. And then weekly reading report can gain the comprehension skill, reading comprehension skill as well. So they they need a shorter duration to comprehend one article. And then the discussion that we get from the findings, the report gained their vocabulary and it influenced how they comprehend the article. And then the students have more opportunities to reflect on the new knowledge and also information. Then weekly reading report motivates the student to improve the reading habit, influences their skills on comprehending the reading content. The conclusion from this one, from the study, we get the students were engaged. Basically, they enjoy very much to the activities of having weekly reading report. They also they share that basically they are enjoy to have individual weekly reading report because we decide that the first three meeting it is group reading report and then the last three meetings individual reading report. Yeah. So they enjoy very much. And the reading report, weekly reading report could boost the student interest in reading, their awareness, reach and become their habits. And it also enhances the students' vocabulary building and helps them to comprehend the student content easily. So I think that's all from the one that I can share about our research related to the extensive reading. So we really need the comment and also critics from the others. Thank you very much.
Yeah, okay. Thanks a lot for the presentation, Miss Paulina. All right, now this is the time for question and answer, but you may also give your other contribution like critics or others. Please, you may raise hand or maybe in a chat room.
Ibu Siti, mungkin saya ingin memberi feedback untuk Universitas Tidar. That was such a good and well-structured presentation, Ibu Paulina. Good job, and you have like clear pronunciation, and I heard almost all the words you said clearly. Good job, Ibu Paulina. Thank you. That's all. Or anyone who would like to ask something, you can chat in the chat box, or you can just turn off or unmute yourself. Turn on, I mean. Sorry.
Okay, thanks a lot, Kapila. Actually, if I can give some response for Paulina, this research is really interesting because it must keep consistency, I guess, because we know that our reading habit is uh, not high enough. So I don't know whether it when it's implemented in other university, maybe the result will be different because keeping consistency in reading is not easy. So it's a great research.
Thank you very much, Bu Siti and also Bu Alvira for the feedback. So yeah, thank you very much.
I think that's all ya Ibu Paulina. Atau ada yang mau bertanya? Jika tidak, let's move to the next presentation. Well, once again, thank you very much for the insightful presentation, Ibu Paulina from Tidar University, and thank you also Ibu Siti for being the moderator for the first presentation. Well, now let us move to the next presentation, which will be delivered by the team from UIN Sultan Maulana Hasanuddin Banten and will be moderated by Ibu Mary from Jakarta State University. The time is yours.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. I bet that there are only women here, yeah. So, good morning, good afternoon, ladies here in this room. So my name is Marilyn Catherine Widyananda, and here I will be the third presenter. So now I will be the moderator for the second presenter. So the second presenter comes from UIN Sultan Maulana Hasanuddin Banten, Ibu Susulawati, Bustomi Ibrahim, and Siti Sabiah. If I'm not mistaken, it is only Ibu Siti here.
Yeah.
Okay.
But actually, I'm trying to share my screen, but it can't.
Oh, the screen sharing is disabled?
I don't know. I think my laptop is not compatible, the Chromebook. Wait, I'm still connecting to my handphone.
Oh yeah. Okay, maybe you can share your PowerPoint to the PIC in this room.
Chat in the chat box or what?
Iya Bu.
Iya,
Ibu bisa dikirim ke chat box saja. Nanti operator kita coba untuk membantu ya Ibu.
Di chat box ini untuk mengirim filenya gimana ya?
All right, so for the next presentation, it will talk about the Designing Islamic Vocabulary Book for English students.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Well, this is a very long way designing a book. So later, after Bu Siti is all set, we are going to listen to the presentation about the vocabulary book, Islamic vocabulary book.
But I'm still trying to share the screen.
Yeah.
And then to share the screen, the PPT in our chat books also, it cannot be appeared.
Okay. Well, maybe we have to contact someone here.
Someone here, ya.
Atau Ibu dari yang Universitas Negeri Jakarta atau boleh ditukar saja tidak jadi yang
saya duluan.
Ya, jadi biar Ibu Siti nanti prepare dulu, begitu ya Ibu?
Oke.
Nah, menghemat waktu juga. Okay, let's just listen to the presentation from Jakarta State University. The time is yours, and it will be moderated by Ibu Aknira atau Ibu Paulina dari Tidar University. The time is yours.
Okay, thank you so much. So, my name is Aknira Reka from Tidar University. Now I will be here as moderator. And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Now we have to welcome the third presenter from Universitas Negeri Jakarta, Indonesia, Ibu Mary Louise Catherine Widyananda. The title of the research is The Effects of Implementing Active Learning on High School Students' Participation in English Online Class. Ibu Mary, you have 15 minutes to present the research. Then the next 5 minutes is going to be our discussion or question and answer. To Ibu Mary Louise, time is yours.
Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So, my name is Nurul Catherine Widyananda, but you can call me Nanda. Maybe Bu Aknira later on can call me Nanda. So, yeah, here. I will present my media research here, entitled "The Effect of Implementing Active Learning on High School Students' Participation in English Online Class." So, I'm also an English student for private school here in Tangerang, but this research was taken in my former school when I was still in Bogor. Okay, so it started from the online, the COVID-19 pandemic, and we all know that we have to adapt ourselves with the online learning. So the COVID-19 pandemic caused us to have online learning, and it impacts a lot of things, including the educational system. And here, it also impacts the teachers and the students also. For the teachers, we were exposed to a new teaching and learning situation, and a lot of workshops were held to prepare the teachers for online learning, so that the online learning will be more creative and will be more enjoyable also for the students, both for the teachers and the students. And for the students, it changed a lot, especially for their interaction among each other. Some of them were even shy or not confident to talk to their new friends or even to open their cameras. They tend to use the chat feature in Zoom or in Google Meet or maybe in their WhatsApp, yeah, so that they will not face each other. And the questions I ask in this research are, what are the students' problem in showing their participation in English online class? And what are the effects of implementing active learning in English online class? So I had the observation and the interview to some students in my former school that I employed this active learning. So active learning itself, it is taken from Felder and Brand. It is anything course related that all students in a class session are called upon to do other than simply watching, listening, and taking notes. So the activities are, for example, asking the students to answer questions, bringing up a problem or a challenge for them to solve individually or in groups, then asking them to deliver their opinions or comments about it. So there are some advantages and disadvantages of implementing active learning. The first one for the advantages is the students will have better and long-term understanding. Students will be able to relate their understanding about the learning materials and real life situation. And the third one is students will be more engaged with the enjoyable learning activities. And there are also some drawbacks for applying or implementing this active learning. The first one, facilitators needs more time to prepare the learning activities. It happened to me personally, and that was very tiring to prepare, to think about how the students would react to the activities and so on. That was very tiring. And then the second one is less efficient rather than the traditional one. We had a very limited time in the class for per session. It is only 30 minutes or even 20 minutes, and we have to get the students engaged with our learning activities. So it is quite tiring to have active learning here, and it is less efficient than having just the traditional lecture. And the third one, less enjoyable for students who are not ready and do not like to participate actively in the class. Usually for those students who are, we can call it as introvert, yeah, they are just, they will be really bothered to do this kind of activity. And there are some activities that we can apply in the active learning itself. The first one is writing minute paper, and then self-assessment, large group discussion, think, pair, and share, brainstorming, interactive lecture, role-playing, jigsaw discussion. So for the first step, I took some observation. It is in my class, actually. So there are 3 categories here from the Flanders interaction analysis. The first one is indirect teachers communication, and then it also has direct teachers communication and students communication. For the indirect teachers communication, the teacher tried not to intimidate the students by giving them encouragement to learn actively in the class. So no judgment at this stage. And then the teacher asked them to share their ideas or opinion, accepted them, and used them as the topic of the discussion. And for the direct teachers communication, the teacher gave explanation, opinion, and instructions. The teachers evaluated students' attitude and showed the teacher's authority in the class. And for the students' communication, yeah, this is the problem here. Some of the students responded to the teacher's questions by annotating the screen or answering the questions orally, but some of them chose to keep the answers for themselves and didn't react to anything the teachers asked them to do. Yeah, and then from the previous study, those kind of problems also appear in the English class. So the first one, students do not want to talk. The second one, students go off task or they do not want to do what the teacher asked them to do. And students tend to speak their first language, especially since we are all Indonesian here in the school, and we tend to get it really hard to speak in English. So they tend to speak in their first language. And some students do not work well together. It is simply because their personality didn't match each other, so that they do not want to have what kind of the group discussion, for example. And I also found that the students' problem, there are some problems of the students in participating actively in the online class. So the first one is they were not confident. They were not confident in answering the questions. They were afraid to be judged wrong while answering the questions, and then they were afraid to get judged by their grammar, for example. Yeah, so they tend to be more passive in the class. And then the second one is they don't understand the lesson. That we all know for the online learning, we cannot have the full control of the students, so we do not know what they did in behind their gadgets. So they just ignore the lesson and they do not have willingness to understand more about the lesson. And the third one, they tend to rely on their friends who usually were active in the class. So yeah, that students is already active, so I will be the passive one. So they thought something like that. And I chose 3 approaches here: brainstorming, interactive lecture, and large group discussion for the active learning activities. Here is the example of the brainstorming activity. So I gave the question here: what are the important information that you need to put in an ad? So I gave them a blank, white blank screen here, and asked them to annotate the screen, especially where we were using Zoom, and it has the annotation feature here. So they wrote their ideas here, And then here is the example of the interactive lecture. Sorry, it is still the brainstorming. Yeah, I gave them a video and then I asked them to write about the topic, the pros and cons, ideas that provided in the video, and then the conclusion. And also here is the interactive lecture. While I'm explaining about something here, I asked them to annotate the screen. It happened when it is a blended learning. So there are some students who wrote on my iPad, and there are some students at home who write on the annotation screen. It is also the interactive lecture. And for this one, it is a large group discussion. So I asked them to read text here and let them find one or more proverbs that is or are suitable for this story. And I asked them to share their ideas by typing it on the chat. It will be more efficient rather than asking them to open their microphone and talk. And here is the Padlet that I also gave them. I asked them to create a review about a short film. And they can even send some GIF here, GIFs that they can express their feeling about the film and what is it? And give this expressions anonymously. Okay, so I asked some students here how it helped, the active learning helped them to learn. So it helped us, the first student said that it helped us to learn, not just to just listen to the theory, but we did the practice as well. And then the second student said the annotated screen could be our additional notes to be read before the exam. And although I didn't feel confident at the first time, they were more friends to annotate the screen. So that's okay if I made mistake together with my friends. And then the fourth student said that it was such an effective way to improve our reading and writing skills. At the time, we were asked to read and answer the questions for the comprehension. And this is the fifth students, although not all of us actively did what you asked us to do. You here means the teacher, yeah, but like annotating screenwriting on Padlets or answering the questions. I think that kind of method was way better than having a bunch of homework, especially for the online class. So in conclusion, students had some problems in keeping up with online teaching learning process, showing themselves to their new friends, and being confident in answering teachers' questions. And for the active learning itself, like brainstorming, interactive lecture, and large group discussion, it helped the students to be more engaged with the teaching learning process.
Bu Mary.
And yeah, thank you. And that is the end of my presentation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Bu Mary Louise Catherine Widyananda. That was such a really great, interesting presentation. And actually, I'm really curious about how you teach them. I mean, in this online class, and then you can do active learning, something like that. It's quite challenging, I think. So now we are in the last session. It is question and answer session. So please, for the audience, if you want to ask Ibu Mari, you can ask her, or you can chat in the chat box, or maybe you can turn on your microphone. 5 minutes, yeah, Mbak Alfira. Okay, yeah, we have one question. This is from Ibu Sumiasi. To Ms. Nanda, my students look less spirit and reluctant to study. How to overcome the problems? Wow. Okay.
Okay, this is also still be my question. Yeah, actually. Yeah, we had the same problem in Sumiasi, that students look less spirit and reluctant to study. Usually, since now we do not, we are no longer holding the online class. Yeah, we all have the offline class here. But for the online class, I suggest you to have the activities like, so here in our school, we had a listening workbook that has some more activities, especially for listening. It is to listen to the song first, listen to the song, and then ask them to complete the lyrics, and just show them in the screen, for example, on the screen. And then I ask them to take turn to fill in the blanks, and usually it help to get engaged with the students as the warming up session, rather than just jump into the materials. Then it won't be effective if the students are not in a good condition. I think, yeah, the warming up session is really important for those less spirit and reluctant students. Yeah.
Yes, I agree to Ibu Mary about how to engage in the very first beginning of the teaching or learning, because we have to grab their attention, and it is quite hard, I think.
Yes.
So, to Ibu Sumiasi, is it answer your questions, or do you want to ask some more questions, maybe? Or for the other audiences, you can ask for Ibu Mary. Or while waiting for the question, can I ask? Because
Sure.
I have the same. Okay. So I'm quite curious about brainstorming that you took for this research. So how if the students still like keep silent, they tend to be more passive, and how if the brainstorming strategies or method or this one didn't work? So what will you do?
I used to call their names one by one. Yeah.
I see.
So
Point out the students.
I asked them, point out the students, and I asked them to unmute their microphone, especially since I'm the host there. So there's no excuse that you have to answer my question.
Oh yeah. Okay, so it's a kind of obligation to answer your questions, right?
Yeah, and it is. I think it is. It can be highlighted that all that the students try to say need to be accepted by the teachers, not just ignore them, then judge them that they are wrong, but at least they know that we are listening. Yeah, we have to appreciate their ideas.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, we'll still wait for the questions.
Thank you for the question, Ibu Sumiasi and Ibu Aknira.
Yeah.
I think the time is almost up. Like we.
Oh, really? Wow.
20 seconds.
Wow. Okay. 20 seconds. How if we count together? 20, 19. Oh no.
No.
No need to do it. Okay. Thank you so much for Ibu Mary Louise Catherine Widyananda to such a great presentation and also the great answers. Thank you so much for Mbak Alfira as the committee of this seminar, and me, Aknira Reka, is happy to be moderator here. Thank you. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Bu Aknira and Bu Alfira.
Yeah, okay. Well, thank you very much for the very insightful presentation and discussion between Ibu Mary and Ibu Aknira, and also Ibu Sumiasi. Of course, thank you for the question. And now let's move to the next presentation, Ibu Siti. Sudah bisa dibantu Ibu dari pihak operator kami, nanti akan bantu untuk share screen.
Oke, thank you Mbak.
Ibu sudah siap Ibu?
Iya, siap.
Oke, baik Ibu, time is yours. And for UIN Sultan Maulana Hasanuddin Banten, the presentation will be moderated by Ibu Mary again from Jakarta State University.
Okay.
Well, Ibu, time is yours.
Okay, good afternoon once again, ladies and gentlemen. So we are going to listen to the presentation from Ibu Siti Sadia here as the representative of UIN Sultan Maulana Hasanuddin Banten. Yeah, it is entitled Designing Islamic Vocabulary Book for English Students. So, Ibu Fikri, the time is yours.
Yeah, okay. Thanks a lot, Ibu Mary. And I'm so sorry for the audience here for the technical obstacle. Okay, so for the screen, yeah, all right. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Uh, so in this session, good afternoon, everyone. Please allow me to share our result of the research entitled Designing Islamic Vocabulary Book for English Students. Okay, go to the next, please. Okay, so here there are 3 reasons that why we must do this research. Okay, the first one is back to the introduction. Yeah, okay. There are 3 reasons. Actually, the first one is related to the vocabulary mastery. We know that vocabulary is one of the key to get successful in learning a foreign language. In this case, which is English. And then here, when the students have got like a vocabulary, they will also get difficulty in other English skills. For example, like listening, reading, speaking, and writing. Okay, so here without having a good level in vocabulary mastery, they will also get difficulty in communicating their ideas, their opinions, and also their thoughts. Okay, and then the second reason, ini PPT-nya sudah ganti sendiri ya.
Sebentar ya,
Harusnya
Bu.
tadi masih introduction ya, Bu ya?
Iya, betul.
Oh iya, oke.
Yeah, okay. So that's the first reason why we did the research in this topic. And then we come to the second reason, which is actually this study derived from the real experience in which in the translation class where the lecturer asks the students about certain vocabulary related to the Islamic context, for example, like how to say sujud in English, how to say ruku in English, or rukun iman in English. And some of them couldn't answer, couldn't respond the question. So this is like a trigger for us to do the research because they are actually from university, State Islamic University students. So hopefully they should know about the vocabulary related to the Islamic context because later on when they graduate from the university, they are prospective teachers and they have probability to teach in the Islamic school or boarding school. So here they should know because this research also can equip the students to get prepared in their future job. Okay, go to the next slide. Okay, so here we know that there is a specific term here in English, which is English for specific purposes. So we learn the specific field or other field study in the English specific purposes. But actually, we have tried to find out whether the English for Islamic studies is also one of the branch from ESP or not. But and then finally we have found that one. So here there is one. What is that? The expert said that English for Islamic studies is like a new branch in English for specific purposes. So English for Islamic studies focuses on how to use English in Islamic context and help students to understand the Islamic terms. So here in the real working life, the students will face not only related to the academic vocabulary, but they also probably will face the certain or technical terms that related to the Islamic vocabulary when they teach in Islamic school or boarding school, something like that. Okay, so here there are two research questions. The next slide. The first research question is how to design an Islamic vocabulary book for English students. And then the second research question is there any influence of using Islamic vocabulary book to improve students' vocabulary mastery? Okay, so we focus on two research questions, this, and the objectives of this study are the next slide. Yeah, since the first one is related to how to design an Islamic book, so here the objective is designing an Islamic vocabulary book for English students. And the second objective is to find out the influence of using Islamic vocabulary book to improve students' vocabulary. Okay, and then the method that was used in this study is research and development. The next slide. Or we know that research and development as R&D method. R&D method, which is a process used to develop and validate educational products. So this is, we think that this is appropriate method since we focus on designing an English vocabulary book, especially for Islamic vocabulary. And then the model that we employed in this study is ADDIE model, which is analysis, design, development, implementation, and the last one is evaluation. Okay, for the next one, next slide. Okay, these are the stages from ADDIE model itself. The first one is analysis. So in this stage, we interview the second semester students to analyze the problems and the students' need. Okay, the students actually are from our university, UIN Sultan Maulana Hasanuddin Banten. Okay, and then here we try to dig what the problems they face in the vocabulary, and then like the previous one that I thought that in the translation class there are several words that in the Islamic vocabulary that they do not know the word in English. Okay, so in this stage we try to find out the problems. Okay, and then the next one is design. In this step, we design the product, which is the Islamic vocabulary book. Okay, and then we also, in this one, design the layout and then deciding the materials and then deciding the parts of the materials, like for example the materials and then the exercise, and also there is the exercise related to the presenting or displaying like in the game or something like that. And then the next one is the development stage, which is we created the product and then validating the product. So here, after designing the product, we distributed the questionnaire or validation sheet to the two validators. The first one is the validator to judge or to evaluate the materials, and then the second validator, they he because one validator for one expert for media, and then the second one is for the material itself. Okay, and then the next one is the implementation. So after we got the result from the validators, we try to revise based on the suggestion from the validators who are from expert validator and media expert. And after that, we implement the book in the second semester of English students. Okay, here we implement only one chapter because the time is limited. So we just implement first in the first one chapter. And after that, to know whether this book is applicable or useful for the students to enhance their vocabulary or not, we did the pre-test and post-test. Okay, so here testing the students to see the comparison of learning outcomes after applying the product. Okay, that's the last stage, which is evaluation. Please go to the next slide. Okay, so this the findings of the need analysis, which is the first stage in ID model. So we found that students got difficulty in making sentences using Islamic vocabulary since they have only a little vocabulary in Islamic context. And then number 2
minutes left ya, Bu.
Yeah, okay. Number 2 is there is few media for learning Islamic vocabulary in English. Okay, number 3 is there is no glossarium or technical term material provided by the teacher or the lecturer. And then number 4, students need media to increase their vocabulary in Islamic studies. Okay, go to the next one, which is the result for in the design stage. There are 4, there are 5. Here, the design, we use the B5 paper size and color printed to make it more interesting. And then there are 15 units, or previously I said that in the chapter. And then the language, of course, use English. The sections, introduction, content, and also closing, the content related to the exercise also. And the last one is the function. The result for the function is the book can be used as the learning media. Okay, and then the result for the development, the next slide. Okay, for the development here, or the design, yeah. Okay, this is the research instrument. So we design also the research instrument in the design stage. There are 2, material expert and media expert, and also pre-test and post-test. And then the result of the development, the next slide. There are 3 here. The first one is we developed the draft that has been, what is that? Designed previously. Okay, we use also Sara Designer for Xmind application for the cover, and then the validating product, material expert and media expert, and the last one revising product, content, cover, layout, and preface. Okay, and then the next one, there is the result of material expert.
The time is up ya, Bu.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, thank you. Maybe,
Okay.
yeah, if we still have the time, we can try to discuss here.
All right. Yeah, thank you, Ibu Siti Sadia, for the presentation. as you said before that it is a new branch of ESP, ya, Bu, English for what is it? Islamic
purposes or English
yeah
for Islamic
for
studies.
Islamic studies, yeah. Okay, so we have two questions here. The first one is from Ibu Sumiasi. This topic is interesting related to Islamic vocabulary, but I'm really still poor to Islamic vocabulary. So how do we improve then, enrich the vocabulary? How do we improve then enrich the vocabulary in easy way? Thank you. Okay, Ibu Sadia.
Yeah, okay. So how do we improve to enrich the vocabulary in easy way? Related to the study that we conduct, so in this book, actually we provide like glossarium. This is the example of the book, this one. Okay, so in every unit there is the reading text and also the what is that, the glossarium for the activity in the classroom. We before teaching the reading text, we provided the students with the glossarium, so when they read the text they have already known the meaning. And then there is also like matching the exercise and like puzzle also here. So hopefully that the students will be more interesting in memorizing the vocabulary, or maybe like having like passive vocabulary after they read based on the previous activity, something like that. Is that answer the question?
Okay, yeah. Still answering your question, Ibu Sumiati? Okay. Oh yeah, how can she get the book?
Yeah, actually,
Is it
if Ibu Sumiati is still in this Dria Karya auditorium, I'm still here, so I can show you the book because it's still revised here. So I bring the first edition.
yeah, or maybe Ibu Sumiati can contact
Yes.
Ibu Siti, yeah. Okay, maybe Bu Siti later can give the number or the email here. And we still have 1 more minute, yeah, Mbak Alvira. We still have one question.
Oh yeah, sure.
Okay, so the next question from Maria Putri. So we usually just mention the technical terms in Indonesian, such as mukena or maybe sajadah, yeah. It is really good to foster our cross-cultural understanding. Oh, okay. Oh yeah, this is just what is it? So, some opinion, yeah, from Mbak Maria Putri. You want to add something, Ibu Siti?
Yeah, actually, that's it's like what you said, Ibu Mary. This is like a long journey for the research. Okay, so what we think is about maybe when the students come go to abroad or maybe go visit others, so it's easy for them to what is that spread the culture, for example, like Islamic culture or others. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Ibu Siti. Such a very interesting ideas here to be delivered.
Yeah.
Okay, Mbak Alvira.
For all the participants, since the time is almost up, can you guys please turn on the camera and let us take a picture together? The operator will count it down.
Our last session will be moderated by Ms. Patricia Angelina.
Ladies and gentlemen, okay. As a reminder for all the participants, the link to the ticket exit will be posted on the search box later. One more. After the plenary session, we will distribute some books for the lucky participants. Thank you. Now,
thank you for all the participants and thank you for all the presenters. So after this, let's move to the main room for the next session. Thank you for the presentation and thank you for your enthusiasm. So see you.
I would like to welcome you all.
Thank you.
Alvira.